Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Worthy, Worth It, and Priceless. And this podcast is titled Seeking Validation. Now, originally, the title was going to be Stop Seeking Validation, but I did want to get to a place where I'm not basically just always telling someone what to do. And I wanted to really come to you and let you know what my story was or is about seeking validation and where my origin of seeking validation came from, and also give you tips and tricks to not seek validation through my story and everything. So, anyway, let's get into it. So, my need for seeking validation started when I was really young. Um, I was basically picked on at home, school, and everywhere in between. And it seemed like nothing that I did was good enough for the people around me. It's like when I was always reading, someone had something to say about me reading. Um, no matter what I did, like even with how I ate food and stuff like that, it was something like no matter what I did, someone had something to say about it. Long story short. And as I got older, that basically stuck with me. I was just always trying to find someone to be my friend. That's where the people pleasing stuff started coming in at. So now I'm people pleasing and I'm trying to get everyone to like me. And that may be everybody's story. Like you just want somebody to like you. You want, um, I was desiring friendship from people. I was desiring someone that would have my back, those types of things. And because of that, like I said, that's where the people pleasing came from. I was trying to do everything just to make everybody happy. And um, once again, it also, so just say from there, I was also seeking that from the partners that I chose. Um, I remember I was dating this one guy, and he was really popular in high school. And mind you, at this time, we weren't in high school at all, but I was trying to get him to just tell me, like, I was beautiful or something like that, or just trying to get, um, like, I guess, compliments from him and things like that. And he really, I will say he was emotionally unavailable, we'll put it that way. And but for the most part, that is how my story was. I was just going around to people, and it's like, oh, you're my friend. Hey, I'm going to tell you my whole life story and this, that, and the third. And I'm just seeking that validation from people. I wanted that pat on the back. I wanted that love that I didn't get previously. And I know people's like, oh, there's nothing wrong with that or whatever, but at the end of the day, you can start making the wrong decisions. You can start being around people who are just basically love bombing you so that they can use you. It is important that you don't seek validation and you realize that who you are is enough. The gifts and the talents that God has placed on you is enough, and the right people will come along. But where we get messed up is that we want everyone to just basically give us a pat on the back. And so we're going up to people and we're like, hey, look what I did, look what I did. And a lot of times when you do that, what you're doing is you're opening up a door for people to rob and steal from you. Because with that, it's like, oh, she's looking for validation. She wants that. Okay. And they'll get your secret sauce, we'll put it that way, and just to steal it from you. And so, with that being said, how do we stop this? We stop this by knowing that you are enough. How do you know that you're enough? You have to start saying that. You're like, well, I don't believe it. You have to look in the mirror and you have to do the work and you have to see, hey, I am enough. And you're like, well, nothing around me shows me that I am enough. But you have to know that. And I know a lot of you might have that same story that I had. I didn't have that encouragement. I didn't have people really being my cheerleader, other than, for the most part, like my grandmother. She was really my cheerleader. No matter what I did, said, or anything, she never made me feel guilty about anything that I've done. She, like, if I would like change my mind a lot. And a lot of times I did that to seek approval from other people. That was something else as well. And so I would just say, right now, just for an example, I'll be a photographer today, then the next minute I'm doing a blog, next minute I'm doing this. No matter what I did, she never said, oh, Bubble, that's crazy. That's my nickname. But she never was like, Bubble, that's crazy, or you shouldn't do that, or nothing. She never put me down. And so with that, you have to do that same thing to yourself. Don't put yourself down. You get put down, or you may get put down by the opinions of other people all day. But you have to make sure that you are loving on yourself. Don't look at yourself, oh, you're crazy, you're this. You cannot say the same things that the world is saying. And when you do that, more and more you start loving on yourself, and you will say that you are enough. The gifts and the talents that God has given you, you will start believing in them. Believe in yourself. Believe that you are doing what you're doing for a purpose. But the problem is, like I said, we start echoing what the world is saying. And you have to learn how to turn that off. Turn off the world. Turn off those voices from your childhood. That's another step. Turn off those voices. You are not that 10-year-old that was getting picked on. You're not that 14-year-old. You're not the 18-year-old. And you are not your mistakes. And when you do that, more and more, you will start realizing, hey, I am enough. When you start loving on yourself, you'll realize, hey, I love me. As long as God is guiding me, I'm going to be going down this path. Regardless if anybody else approves or anything, this is where I'm going. And then you'll be steadfast in your mind that this is where you're supposed to go. And do not beat down on yourself if you make a left or right turn. Sometimes you can pivot. And while you're going down that path, you're like, you know what? This may not be for me. And be okay with that. But when you constantly go for other people, for their opinions and their approvals, a lot of times, once again, they don't even know what they're doing in their life. And we're seeking their approval for something that they may have never did. The gifts and the talents or whatever that God has placed in your heart, you may be the first person to do it. So when you go to that person that you want to go to and say, hey, is this an idea that I should be doing? Or whatever, they'll be like, oh no, that's not it. And what if that is exactly where God wants you to go? But because you were seeking their approval and their validation, you may have missed out on your opportunity and your blessing. So to recap, what we need to do to stop seeking validation, you need to realize and know that you are enough. Start speaking life over yourself. Turn off the voices of the world. And when you do all those things, I know there's more steps than that, but for the most part, I'm just going to get you started. When you start doing that, then you will start going down the path that God has called you to. And you won't be seeking other people's approvals. You can do it. I love you guys. Always know that you have worth, you have value, and you are more than enough. Until next time.